Well, ahead of today's Group D Club World Cup matchup between Espérance and Chelsea, here's a look at Espérance's club profile. They are the giants of Tunisia, winning a league record 34 times, including 8 titles in the past 9 seasons. The African Kings have lifted the CAF Champions League title 4 times and were finalists back in 2024. The club was founded in 1919 and has been in Tunisia's top flight since 1936. And the Club World Cup vets, well, they are participating in their 4th Club World Cup with 2 previous 5th place finishes. And here's a look at where things stand right now in Group D ahead of today. Brazilian side Flamengo, they have secured 1st place, while Chelsea, they will finish 2nd in the group with a win or draw today, while Espérance can only advance by beating Chelsea. I mean, how big of an accomplishment would this be if Espérance are able to overcome all of the many things working against them in this matchup today, Nico?
I think this would be the upset of the group stage. Yeah. If Espérance beat Chelsea to qualify, and obviously it would be the head-to-head, the tiebreaker, right? That would put them through. I can't describe it in any other way than the biggest upset of the group stage. Chelsea should go through.
Yeah, I mean, can you think of the depth that Chelsea has, or is it more
the squad value,
money that they have in abundance, right?
I mean, I feel like any time that Chelsea's in any competition, you can point to the squad value and say this team should win because of the way that they've invested.
I mean, just look at the numbers.
Cha-ching!
That's startling, honestly. 6.6 million in transfer fees compared to over 2 billion. The squad value, I mean,
estimated squad value 23.6 million. Cole Palmer's left leg is 23.6 million.
Even though Cole Palmer hasn't even been, the player that he was last season, but Mike, just take us through this Espérance team. I mean, who are some players to watch? If they were to be able to, get this upset, who would it come down to?
Well, it's going to have to be getting it done in both boxes. And against LAFC, they certainly did that. They had some nervy moments. We know that Denny Bouanga had a nightmare of a Club World Cup. He's still a good MLS player. But I look in the attack, and there's one player in Youssef Belaili who has Ligue 1 pedigree, came and played at Brest. And so he's proven that he can score goals in Liga, but what he's doing on the African continent, this is a big game player. And he was a leading goal scorer in the CAF Champions League. When he wants to, he can take over a game. And he's got this slyness about him. The way he scored the goal against LAFC, there are about 2 players think they have him dead to rights, and his ability to shift the ball and have a quick release is everything for Espérance. And I look in the back line, you go with the experience, you go with their captain in Yassine Media, and Nico, you might remember him. Tunisia, 2018 World Cup, he was part of that Tunisian team that beat Panama 2-1. Mm-hmm. And the core of the Tunisian team for that 2018 World Cup were mostly Espérance players. So we see the fans, we see the passion, and if this upset goes through, man, these fans are going to be out of their minds going crazy.
Yeah, and honestly, the fans can be that fine margin that we talk about in the game, making the difference. But Tony, when you look at Chelsea's performances so far in this Club World Cup, they have a win and a loss and need a win or a draw today. How would you assess the job that they've done and what it would mean in the context of where this team is at if they, for some reason, weren't able to get through today?
I wonder how they react to the whole thing, right? Taking a punch to the mouth from Flamengo, right? Okay, you can say this is preseason, this doesn't mean anything to us, and I think there was always the fear of maybe some Europeans approaching the competition like that, but then all of a sudden you take a gut punch, right? And now you got to react. You are Chelsea. You have spent over $2 billion. Let's see some fight now from you, right? You've had a couple days to adjust. You didn't make a managerial change. You got the same managers you had last year. You're trying to build something here. I look at this as still, like we talked earlier today, you don't want to go into preseason coming off a Club World Cup where people are going to have questions about you. Does it make a difference in the big picture? We always say no, but I think of the mental side of the game for these teams.
Not tone. You might have been confused by the tone with which you enter this new season, right?
Yeah.
I think this is different than Atletico Madrid going out on the group stage. Atletico Madrid, again, was in a somewhat complicated group. They should have progressed, but Botafogo presented an incredible threat. Copa Libertadores champion, PSG, was coming off of waxing Inter 5-0, and then what ended up doing Atletico in was a 4-0 loss, which isn't all that surprising. Chelsea goes out here?
But we were just
Chelsea
talking
goes
about how
out here?
positive it was that they won the Conference League title, which they were, yes, expected to win, but could it really go from being a nice positive building moment to immediately just back in? Would it set them, how much would it set them back if they don't get out of the group?
I don't know how they interpret this Club World Cup ultimately as the great success of the year or the biggest failure of the year. It would be incredibly embarrassing if they don't get through to the next stage. I would imagine that they're going to beat Espérance today. They have to. They must. Like, there's no excuse.
Yeah, they really should. The big talking point when it comes to the Club World Cup that I've really had my eye on and talking to Chelsea fans, and I think seeing the dialogue over in the UK, is between the two strikers. You get Liam Delap for really good money, and he was underwhelming, much like the team in the second game. Got a good debut, but now Nicholas Jackson getting a red card, there's going to be some hell to pay if Chelsea lose to Espérance and Nicholas Jackson is in the tabloids because of that red card. I mean, we saw the criticism he got, Nico and Tony, after getting a red card late on in the season in the Premier League, and how that almost derailed their Champions League aspirations.
So talk about tone that you set going into the new season, and if you want to see a plus side for Europeans, right? Because I think a lot of Europeans say, oh, why do we have to play another tournament? For Liam Delap, this is a moment where he can not solidify a starting role, but plant a seed in a manager's head and say, remember what I did at the Club World Cup? I'm good enough for you to choose me over Nico Jackson going into the Premier League season. So he starts with a step ahead of Nico Jackson, if he performs well against Espérance and takes Chelsea into the next stage as is expected. Yeah, the fight for starting spots and where you fall in the depth chart, it starts now for teams competing in this competition.
In your stomach, right? It's you go into the preseason. Okay, I don't think if Chelsea doesn't win the Club World Cup, it's not a big deal, right? But they get knocked out here. I don't think that they will, but they don't have good performances here. You still got on that plane and you're not really feeling great about what the start of your season, because preseason is the start, right? It's where you build everything and then you compete after that. I have Chelsea friends coming in this a month ago. They said, hey, one of my old producers, massive Chelsea fan, hey, I don't care about this competition. And he's cursing after they lose 3-1. Like, he's cursing the whole team out. So they do care. But I look at it from an athlete standpoint, you have to care. Right, you have to react after losing to Flamengo.
I think especially when you lose by such a resounding scoreline for European versus South American standard, and you frankly get played off the park. Well, maybe not played off the park, but you
get beat soundly.
You were inferior to Flamengo. And that's probably made them perk up and be like, and I think this happened to a lot of Europeans at this point, perked up and been like, oh, okay, let's start taking this seriously. If not, we're going to make a mess of it and walk out embarrassed.
This might be a great thing for them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, what's the quote, about getting punched in the mouth? I'm forgetting it now.
It's from
Mike
Rocky.
Tyson. Okay.
Mike Tyson or Rocky.
Everybody hasn't played until they get punched in the mouth. There it is. Yes, okay. I remember. Okay, let's bring in our buddy John Buckets Eimer to see what he thinks going into today. And also, let's start, Buckets, by seeing how you did yesterday. Are we going to take a look at those?
Well, are we? I'll just tell you how we did yesterday.
Oh, okay.
We did okay.
You're 1-1. Okay.
1-1.
That's my bad. But what do you got for us today?
Well, it's very tricky betting on this Tunis versus Chelsea matchup because the books have Chelsea as such a heavy favorite, up to -500 on certain books going into this matchup. And to find value, sometimes you have to tell yourself, listen to your gut, and say that maybe the books are wrong on this one. The books do not think that Espérance will even score a goal in this fixture, and I think that they will. They have been showing up in this competition. Their fans have been backing them, and maybe they don't have enough to beat Chelsea, but I truly believe they have enough attack power, and Chelsea is struggling enough that we could see Tunis to score in this game. I'm going with both teams to score, which is all the way up to +130 right now, because Tunis have the ability to pull that off. And Chelsea, you're Chelsea. I don't care if Jackson is out. I don't care if it's hot. I don't care if you are tired. You are a $1 billion squad taking on a squad worth $20 million. You have to score in this fixture. But Tunis know that it's going to take at least 2 goals to make this win happen, and they're going to be pressing from the get-go. I think this is a lot closer than the 3-0, 4-0 that the books think we're going to get in this one. Then I've also got a player prop for all of us as well. Again, looking for plus odds value here. Looking at who's going to score for Chelsea. Because Jackson's out. Palmer has only scored once in his last 25 competitive fixtures. Liam Delap struggled in his last game, but he's still new. He's still synergizing. So, which is why I was so surprised to see that Pedro Neto to score or assist in a game that the books think that that Chelsea's going to get 3+ goals in is plus odds, plus 105. He scored against Flamengo. He scored against LAFC. He's been the guy that's stepping up when the rest of this Chelsea squad hasn't. And he's surrounded by talented players. He can dump the ball off to Delap. He can hit Enzo Fernandez behind him for goal. It's to score or assist. So I don't care which one it is, as long as it's one of those. And Neto's just been playing too well in this competition to not put some money on right now.
Yeah, I like that Pedro Neto, but what do you guys think?
I think the both teams to score is cheeky. I'm taking John. I'm taking a little bit of what you gave me yesterday for either the Boca game or the Benfica Bayern game, because you also think Angel Di Maria score or assist. Maybe both teams to score in that one as well. Combine it hypothetically for a cheeky parlay.
I think it's a great shout.
How would you describe this, Buckets? Cheeky, is that a good word?
I'm going to start using it in every show I go on moving forward. I'm a sponge. I hear a new word. It's like, yes, I think it's a very cheeky look that we see BTT in this one. I'm going to use that a lot. Thank you, Nico.
Buckets, there is one player I didn't hear you give a parlay for that really I want to get into, and then we're going to go to break in a bit. Cole Palmer, I saw at plus 145 anytime goal scorer. I know you said that Cole Palmer, plus odds, Cole Palmer against Espérance. I'm going to hammer that every time. This could be a coming out party for him, well ahead of, by his standards that he set, lofty standards in his first campaign at Stamford Bridge. A little bit underwhelming, the Conference League final aside. So what do you think of those?
I have a personal bias in this one because I have been waiting for his coming out moment for the last 15 or so games, and I keep putting money on Palmer, and I keep losing money on Palmer. So I agree with you, though. He's going to have that big game where he gets a brace or gets a hat trick, and Tunis is a side that could be. But until I see him produce a result again, Mike, I just can't. It's been too tough for me.
Yeah, here's a quote I actually can recall. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. So maybe it will be the day. Didn't take Mike Lahoud for a big betting guy, but we know that our guy Buckets is. So, John, great stuff as always.